Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Dhyanamoolam Gurumurtihi Poojaamoolam Gurupadam Mantramoolam Guruvakyam Mokshamoolam Gurukrupa Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Om Shri Nannagaru Paramatmane Namaha.
Thank you, Grishma. It's wonderful seeing you.
Yes.
Yeah. Om Shri Nannagaru Paramatmane Namaha.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Welcome, Radha. It's so wonderful to have you here.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yes, and you are one unique, exclusive foreigner that came to Nannagaru and whom he addressed as his, like she resembles my grandmother. So,
yes.
So there are so many people that are connected to Nannagaru, but we recognize you as his grandmother.
Thank you so much.
Not literally or physically, but as you said, out of his extreme compassion. And there are various reasons for Nannagaru to, address whomever it is, and it's a quite close connection also. He meant the internal connection you had with him. And only he sees it, right? Like, we see the gross forms and names, but he sees what we are internally. Yeah. Yes. So, yes. Radha, how actually did your spiritual journey begin, and what made you come to India? And then you can speak in general about your spiritual life in brief, and then how you met Nannagaru and how your journey with him and your visits to Jinnur. And we would love to hear from your version.
Oh, yes. Okay. I must say, India crept into my life, like a creeper. This plant,
Yes, the creeper plant.
The creeper plant, yes. So I was not a seeker or anything. I was not on a spiritual path.
Okay.
And then it became my body, and then eventually I became the creeper, and the creeper just goes where the sun guides the creeper to go, kind of thing.
Yes, Radha, that's true. Yeah.
So that's, I can see when I see now back,
Yes.
because it's just a recollection. Then the seed must have been planted long ago.
Yes.
It was there.
Yes.
So it started with, food, restaurant in Brussels, Indian music, movie.
It fascinated you?
Huh?
This fascinated you? I mean, the Indian version of them?
Yeah. I went to see a movie, the movie about Gandhi.
Oh,
and then I went home and I said to my partner at the time, we have to go to India. You look like an Indian. I have seen all these people and like this, He said, no, India is for Babacools. I'm not a Babacool. We are not going there. We haven't lost anything there. I said, you go and see the movie. So he went to see the movie, Gandhi, and he came back and he said, okay, we are going to India.
Oh, not bad. So the Gandhi movie has made you come to India.
Yes.
So it was not the entertaining this entertaining movies of India, but the Gandhi version of it.
No, yeah. The Gandhi movie, of course. That's what came in the West. Yeah.
Yes.
Bollywood didn't exist.
It was long ago. It was very long ago.
I went for the first time. I went to India in '87.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
two
it
months.
came when I was a child. They took us from school. Maybe I was in second standard.
That was in '87. We went 2 months crisscrossed through south of India. In Madurai, I became very sick. Then we went back home, and I had this all the time this stone in my stomach. I went to see the doctor, Tropical Institute. Nothing was there, so I said, we have to go back. We have to. There is something I can't digest.
Yeah. Okay. So first you visited India. You went to Madurai, Radha?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
We went to the temple, the big temple.
Yes.
And there was a priest, who took us and who brought us into the inner sanctum of the temple and blessed us.
Wow.
I didn't know anything about Indian religious.
Yeah.
I was not looking for.
And yes. They don't generally allow foreigners into the sanctum sanctorum.
No. We had to pay him afterwards, but.
That's the other side. Okay.
That was the closest we came to. I came at that time to, something.
Yeah, but it's beautiful, no? Meenakshi temple is really beautiful.
Yes.
And then Bhagwan's spiritual journey began there.
Yeah.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I really didn't know that. Then we went back to India the same year.
Okay.
In September, October, and then I fell also very ill, and that was
So, first time you fell ill, again it didn't stop you from going to India?
No, because my stomach was a stone, and I thought I have to go back to India. There was something, India is shockingly overwhelming,
Yes,
when you come there first time.
Yes,
and I didn't come there for a spiritual journey,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
So we went back. Then we did the north,
Okay.
We came to Benares, and I fell ill again, and I thought I was going to die, really.
You must have been very young then.
I was at that time 26, 20. Wait,
very young.
No. 20. I was at that time 29.
Late 20s, and you were like, I'm going to die.
Yes, I'm going to die. But then, when I look back now, I can see that I had a what you can call now a spiritual, awakening without knowing it. Because afterwards, I was sitting in a chair, and I could sit there for hours, and I was completely become dispassionate and totally peaceful, and now I can recognize it as a blissful state, actually.
The awakening inside, yeah.
But my partner, he was very worried because I didn't eat anything, and And then he said, "Come, we go to Kashmir and then we went also to Kathmandu, where I started to eat again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh. So
And
that
then,
was, I mean, it's beautiful, Radha, the way, I mean, first time you came, you went to Madurai, and then you went very close into the Sanctum Sanctorum, and then something was happening to you. Again, you had to come back, and then you went to Varanasi.
There,
The very core spiritual, places of India.
yeah, that's where it happened actually. Yeah. Then I was on we were on a houseboat on the Kashmiri Lake. There was nobody there. Yeah, that was in '87, and there were riots going on with Tibet and all this, So nobody was there, but there was a magazine, and I looked into the magazine, and there was a whole article about Dharamsala and the Dalai Lama.
Oh, okay.
So I said, let's go there. I want to go there, We went there. That was the closest. That was my first really spiritual, like.
Yeah.
The Dalai Lama was not there.
Oh, okay. So you went to Dharamshala from Srinagar. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And but we could see, where he sat and all this. And I visited doctors there also because of my health.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I came back when we came back from India, I happened to be pregnant.
Mm.
So I got pregnant in India.
Nice. Beautiful, Radha.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then 2 years after we split up, we never were married or anything. Mm-hmm. And he went to live in Singapore. And I was left alone as a single mother. And that's what I did, Then, after it was a very, very difficult time. It was really survival,
Yeah.
Absolutely survival. Yeah. And then he called me, so the son's father, he called me from Singapore. And he said, I was in Bali and a lot of single mothers are there and their life is easy, you get help and all this. I offer you a house there, I will rent a house for you and you come. And when you do the visa trip, you come and see me because I miss my son. So I left everything in Belgium, job, everything. I took Max out of the school. He was 4 years old and we went to Bali.
Crazy.
And Bali happened to be such a spiritual island.
Yes, it is, I guess.
It's very, very devotional. I never, ever, I would, first 7 days, I would cry and cry and cry. It was fantastic. And there I ran into Westerners who were on a spiritual path. At one point, I was at a house of a friend, and another woman came in, and she said, I'm just coming from India, and I really want to show you something, you have to look at this.
Okay.
It was a movie, and I said, I have to be somewhere, I cannot watch it. Just 5 seconds, she said. And she put the movie on, and it was Ramana Maharshi, Who Am I?
Oh my God.
But I didn't watch the movie.
Okay.
I went out, and a few days later, I got a spiritual experience that changed my whole life. Elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went with your son, the small son?
Yeah, to Bali.
That's very nice. How beautifully life unfolds, huh?
Yeah. Then I went back to Belgium because also of this experience, my health went down with my son, and then nine months later, the fire was completely lit. There was no choice at all. You know, I would go only for this and nothing else anymore. And 9 months later, I stood in front of Papaji.
Wow.
Yeah.
So from Bali, Radha, from Bali, you went back to Belgium again? You stayed for a year?
And then I went to Lucknow. Huh? Yeah.
You stayed in Bali for 1 year?
I stayed in Bali for almost 3 years.
Oh, wow. So once you left Belgium and went, you stayed almost for 3 years?
Yeah, yeah.
And again you came back to Belgium?
And I came back to Belgium.
Yeah, yes. But you had spiritual experiences in Bali?
Yes, many actually. But then there was this major one with Ramana Maharshi. And so then I decided I could leave my son with friends, and I decided to go to Lucknow. So that's how I got the name Radha.
Papaji. Most of I'll tell you, Radha, many of Papaji devotees, after Papaji left his body, somehow most of them, I think almost all of them had come to Tiruvannamalai.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Then you didn't, like many. And they found Nannagaru very similar to Papaji. The way he appeared or the way he addressed people. So they were quite connected to Nana, the way they were with Papaji. And Nana would treat them like Papaji also.
Oh, yes?
So yeah, the loss that they had by losing, true realized saints, they don't really go. But then we are attached to the body. So they could connect to Nana so well. Yeah, so he named you Radha.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I was actually there now because actually after Papaji left the body, I was not looking for another master. Because I was so devout.
You stayed there?
No, actually somebody from Lucknow who gave satsang, and he lived in Australia. He had said to me, "You come with your son to Australia. In the beginning, you can live with me and my wife in the house, and you see if you like it, and then if you like it, you stay there." So that's what I did. I went to Australia with my son.
Nice. So your son also had these adventures with you?
Yes. He grew up with it. Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Yeah. And then in Australia there was somebody that I knew from Lucknow, and he came to me and he said, "You know, I have found a master and you have to meet him, and he's in Mumbai." And by that time, actually, Max was 12 years old, and his father, who was still living and still lives there in Singapore, was married meanwhile to an Indian woman.
Oh, really?
And he asked me to send the boy over. So the boy went to Singapore, had an Indian stepmother. His mother was called by the name Radha, and she went to Mumbai. And I went to live there with Ranjit Maharaj.
Oh.
I was a co-disciple of Nisargadatta Maharaj.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this
Siddhartha Maharaj. Siddhartha Maharaj?
No, Nisargadatta.
Oh, Nisargadatta Maharaj. Oh, yes. Nisargadatta Maharaj. Yes. Okay.
His lineage.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So then my son was in Singapore.
Oh, okay. So
and I could stay in Mumbai.
You were the Indian wife. You were the Indian wife. No, don't confuse us. We shouldn't think it's another Indian woman. The Radha, the Indian woman. He had no choice. He had to marry her. So sweet, Radha.
It just all happened by itself. I never was, it just went like this.
You
And,
never forced anything on it.
No,
You just went with the flow of
yeah,
life.
yeah. I just
Yeah.
went, and I always left everything. So, and but then I had to go back. My son would come back. He was 18 by then. He had been 6 years with his father, and then I had to see for a job and a flat and everything. So pick up normal life. And that was then, when I was working at the company, I only had this spare time of holiday, and the balance, was a little bit lost. Because I had to make money and this and that, and my son paying his studies and all this.
Correct.
So I decided. In 2010, for the first time, I went to Tiruvannamalai.
First time when?
2010. Only.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So till then you were. Yes, you were in Singapore working.
No, in Brussels.
Oh, Brussels. Okay.
Yeah. Not. I don't have no Singapore. Brussels.
Okay.
In Belgium, and so then I went for vacation to Tiruvannamalai, and I had actually made a reservation for a room in the ashram, in Ramana ashram, and they said
this was much after Papaji left his body.
Yeah,
I think
Papaji
Papaji
had
left his body in 1994.
No, 97, 6th of September. And Ranjit Maharaj had left the body in 15th of November 2000.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. And all that time in between, I was just, with him, and
so
and
you
were
with Nisargadatta Maharaj also.
No, he had left the body already.
His disciple.
No, they were co-disciples. They had the same master, Siddharameshwar.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yeah. So, and that's why he was old also when I met him.
Yeah.
And then he also left the body in 2000, 15th of November. I was there also.
I see, okay.
So, and then there was no master in the body anymore.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so... But in 2010, I came to Tiruvannamalai. And I had booked this room. I got this room.
In Ramanashram.
But it was a room just next to the street.
Oh, okay.
No?
Yes. The road that goes to...
very noisy and all this, and I only had 3 weeks, and then I had to go back and work and all this, and I thought, oh my God, I cannot
stay here.
I cannot stay here. How naive. And I went to the office and I asked if they could give me another room, and they were laughing, of course, and they said, no, we cannot give you another room. You will have to sit this out, So sweet, actually. And so I was walking in the street, and I met in the street someone who I had met by accident. I didn't know him, in a restaurant. He had started speaking with me, and he asked me, how are you? So I started complaining about the room in the ashram.
Yeah.
That I could. That's what's really
because
very
that's the only way some way to get out of there.
And he said to me, oh, you know what? I know a good place for you to stay. I am staying there every year. I know the people very well. And I know that the room next to me is free, but actually there is nobody but me. So he took me there, and that was Andrashram.
Okay, yeah. I guessed it. The moment you said he sees a place for me, I thought it was Andhrashram because Nana would come there often. Yeah.
And then, you know, and then they say, he said, and also the owner is the ashram from Sadhguru, and I saw his photo, but I was not especially, you know. I was with Ramana. I came for Ramana, and I was always, you know.
Yes,
but
yes.
But that stay was in this ashram, Andhrashram. The mattress was the worst mattress I ever had in my life. I put the two on top of them, and I felt like the princess on the pea, actually. But at the end of my stay, I was so blissed out and so happy. You cannot believe it.
Nannagaru was not there then.
No. But he crept into my life slowly and steady.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
So you stayed for, I mean, maybe more than 2 weeks then. More than 2 weeks in Andhrashram.
Yes.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
So you had a blissful stay.
I had a blissful stay, absolutely blissful stay. Then I decided to come back every year. And not in Andhra Ashram, but anyway, I ended up next to Andhra Ashram in a house on a compound, Dwaraka compound.
Yes.
So just next
to Andhra Ashram.
Yeah, in Osborne Street. And then, you know, things happened, and first of all, I was at one point I was in the ashram, in Ramana ashram, and people told me, look, Nannagaru is there. You have to meet him. He's there. And he was standing in the library, and he was looking at the books. And I saw him from the back, and I said, no, and I turned my back. And
this was your second visit.
Yes. I don't know. That must have been in 2012 or something. Yeah, 2012. So I didn't go and see him.
Yeah.
But then things happened, and I'm not going into details, but I really plunged in a deep suffering. Bottomless suffering. And I went back to Belgium, and I came back, and that was in 2014, and I called a friend. Just the second day I was there, I called a friend, and with whom I always did pradakshina every day.
Okay.
In the morning. And he said to me, I'm not going on pradakshina because Nannagaru is here.
Okay.
And then I said, can I come?
Okay.
And he said, yes, I'm the only Westerner there, but you can come with me. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was in October 2014. And so I went. We sat in his bedroom upstairs.
Oh, you came straight to Nana's room.
Yeah. It was very only a few people there. Yeah. And then in the end I saw that people had brought prasad, and then they did pranam, you know.
Yes.
And then you had and they touched his feet, and then they had a connection, direct connection. But I didn't have any. I didn't have any prasad. So I said, next day I'm coming with prasad.
You come with fruits so that you can receive some from him.
Yes. So I bought some fruits next morning. I went sit in the room. And then again, when it was finished, and then I touched his feet, I bowed and I gave him the fruit, and then all of a sudden something went through his body like this, you know.
Oh.
And then I was, because actually I was on the verge.
It happens rarely, Radha, that he shudders when something happens.
Yeah, he went like this.
Yeah, this was a sudden shudder in the entire body. Yeah, it happens very rarely. Yeah.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, no, I've seen quite a lot of times, but yeah, it's not always it happens. So when you touched his feet, he did that. I mean, it happened to him.
And when it happened, and because at that time I was in such a bad shape, I was actually on the verge of quitting the path. I said, or I go back to Belgium. I don't want to have anything to do with spirituality anymore. It's finished for me. Or I go to live in Pondicherry. I had also the idea. I was so traumatized about what had happened. So, and when he did this, for me, through my whole, to my mind was, oh, he doesn't want me also. He is rejecting me.
No, it's not so.
Yeah, but that was what happened at that time. So I said, okay, finished. I don't come anymore. And anyway, I have to move out of this compound next to Andhra Ashram, and I will be busy with moving. So 2 days I was busy with this moving out, and I didn't go to see Nannagaru. I had, Then I was in the ashram, Brahmana ashram, and Nannagaru came inside the ashram. And all the people lined up, you know.
And you before you left the place, you just came to visit him one last time.
Which place?
Nannagaru Ashram. You came before you left to Pondi. You came again to Nannagaru Ashram.
No, I didn't leave to Pondi. It was an idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was playing with ideas. What I'm going to do now? I have to move out. What I'm going to do? I'm just, quitting the path. Like this. Yeah. I didn't have anything in, not actual movement. So
yes.
But no, that was this place next to Andhra Ashram. In Osborne Street. I had to move out there. So I didn't come back to see Nannagaru in the other ashram, He was there. Okay. I didn't go back. So and then I was in Ramana ashram, and Nannagaru came to Ramana ashram, and all the people would line up and everything, and because I had met him already before, twice in his bedroom. So I lined also up, and he came under the gallery, just in front of Samadhi hall, like this down. And all of a sudden he stopped, and he asked me something. And he asked me, he said to me, "Your mother language is not English."
So
I said, "No." And so there was happening a lot, And and then he left, and then I thought, okay, I'm going this afternoon. I'm going back to see him.
Oh, okay.
And then I went back, and that's when he said, when he recognized me as his grandmother.
Oh, that was nice, Radha.
And from that moment on, I mean, it didn't stop anymore. I was sitting on a red carpet flying, You see?
Yeah, beautiful. So the misery that you had slowly went away?
Yes, because I mean, he gave me so much juice, and always when we would meet, my heart became liquid, you know, and his heart became liquid, and it was streaming.
Yes, it was a flow.
A flow, unbelievable, and again and again and again, you know.
Yeah, beautiful.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he left Tiruvannamalai, and yeah, and then you know that I called you at one point. That was in February.
Yeah. Yes, Radha.
That I just got a new, you know, whoop. I went down and I said, oh, I have to do something, you know. And then I took information here and there. I got your number. I phoned you. I said, can I visit Nannagaru in Jinuru? It was really for me, you know, very
tough time.
And then you said, I will ask him and I call you back.
Yeah.
But you didn't, and I called you back. I will ask him, and I call you back. But you didn't. Third time, I said I called you, and then you said, okay, 7 days stay, 3 o'clock satsang, Katpadi, Bimavram. You stay in Palakol, not in the ashram, and you go to Jinuru. That's what you said. That was it. Boom. Okay, I went to the train station and I took a ticket. I never forget. It was for 6th of February.
Oh. And the year? Which year this was? 2016 or 15?
No, 15. 15.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had met him in October 14 and
14 and then February 15.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then the day before, I got a phone call from a friend, and he was very, very sick. And he was really very sick. And he said, I have to go to the hospital in Pondicherry. Would you like to come with me? Okay. You also had told me that I should tell to nobody that I would go to Jinuru.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And I said, no, I have a train ticket. I mean, I'm going somewhere, you know, next day. Yes, I will pay you a train ticket and I will pay a new train ticket, but please come with me to Pondicherry. And then these words from Nannagaru came, do good, be good, you know.
Yes, correct. Yes, Radha.
Yeah. So I said, okay, I'm coming with you to Pondicherry. It was not 2 days that I stayed there. We stayed there a whole week. You know, in the hospital, I stayed with him in the room to look after him.
Yeah.
So then I came back, and then I phoned you again, but you had blocked my number.
Blocked? No, I don't.
Yes, I always got this number is blocked. I couldn't reach you anymore.
Oh, no, but I generally don't
because
block.
I told you afterwards, then but anyway, this was what happened.
Okay.
And then I got this dream, and Nannagaru was standing on the rails, and he said to me, clearly and loud, I am waiting for you to come. Because I didn't know what to do, you know, so I went back to the train station and I got a new ticket.
Oh, your number was blocked. I mean, this is news to me, Radha, because I generally don't.
Yeah.
I don't, because not even strangers I block.
Maybe because I was disturbed. I was disturbing you all the time, you know.
No, even then I don't block. Because not to devotees, maybe these very annoying people who are unknown random people who trouble unnecessarily. No, not devotees. Maybe something would have gone wrong. Maybe. Or else you would get the number right. Yeah. So Nana had to come and tell you, wait, I'm waiting. You better come.
Yes. So I went back and I got a ticket, and then I went to Katpadi, And of course, I didn't know where would I arrive. I didn't know anything. And I even was not able to read this ticket right, you know. I mean, these complicated tickets. I went into the train and I sat somewhere. The conductor came and he said, you are not, this is not your place, you have to go there. So I went through the train, I went somewhere, you know. I sat there, the conductor came again, he said, no, this is not the right place, you don't sit here. So, okay, he said, I will take you, yeah. So he took me in the train and he brought me to a place, and that was both sides. There were like 10 women in high spirits. And he said, it's here that you have to sit with all this.
Oh my God!
I said, but there is no space, and they were laughing, and you know, I mean, they were so juicy and overflowing, you know. And then I said, okay, I will go up and I will lie down, and because they were all sitting down and taking the whole space. And actually, I liked it that I could lie down, yeah. And
Radha, from Pondicherry, you came to Katpadi and took the train.
No, from Tiru I took the taxi.
Okay.
Yeah, and then to Katpadi. Tiru, Katpadi, you know.
So you took him to Pondi, the guy who was sick.
Yeah, I came back to Tiru, huh?
Yeah.
And the guy also, he was better then.
He was better, good. So this took you another week?
Yeah. I was a week in Pondi. I came back. Then I had to go to then I didn't know about that, but it was actually Shivaratri time, and it was very hard to find a space in the train.
Oh, so probably you took a general ticket then.
I always took a general ticket, yeah.
General
and
ticket
always
is crazy.
Just, you know, and then I was sitting with these women, and then it was kind of dinner time, and they took all the rice out and everything, and then they offered me some rice, and then we started really speaking with each other. And they said, at first I refused to take some, but then they said, you have to take some because it's coming from, it's blessed, it has been blessed by the temple in Tiru, Vanamalai. They had been on a pilgrimage there.
Oh, okay.
Then, of course, I I had rice with them, and then they asked me, where are you going, and you know, and this and that. I said, I'm going to Bhimavaram. Oh, we are also all stepping down in Bhimavaram, and why are you going to Bhimavaram? I said, I'm going actually to Jinuru to see Nannagaru. Oh, we are all disciples of Nannagaru. And then they phoned, you know. Oh, we are sitting here with a foreigner who is coming for the first time, and so, and then, you know, and then at 3 o'clock they took me from the train,
Yeah, you reached very early. Katpadi train, you reached very early.
That was the only train that was in time. So I arrived there, no taxis, no rickshaws. Everybody was gone. I was standing there. I saw 2 other men standing there. And I went up to them and I said, how do we...
Palakulu.
Huh? And they said, wait, we asked for a rickshaw. A rickshaw came. The 3 of us went into the rickshaw, and the rickshaw driver afterwards brought me to Palakol.
Yes, okay.
All the hotels were closed. We didn't find any hotel.
No, because it was early morning.
Yeah, 3 o'clock. And then finally he brought me to the Regency Hotel, and there the night watcher put me into a room.
Good.
Then next day, I was looking, you said 3 o'clock, Satsang.
Yeah. Yes.
I was looking for a rickshaw to bring me to the house, but I didn't know about the shared rickshaws.
Oh, okay.
So I had a hard time to find a rickshaw to bring me to Nannagaru's house, to Jinnor.
So it was a big adventure, your first trip to Jinnor.
Yeah, wait, it's not finished. I came there and I said, okay, it must be here, you know, the mountain and Ramana Maharshi, Nannagaru and chairs and all this. And I sat there nobody was there. Nobody. Everything was closed and all this. 10 minutes went by, 15, 20, half an hour. They were building opposite his actually house now, I didn't know about that. But then they would do, these workers would do like this, and they said, Nannagaru is not here, he is Bhimavaram.
Oh my God. He has gone to Bhimavaram. Crazy.
Yeah, and
Crazy.
then, my gosh, I didn't. So then they said, go up in the back of the house. So I went up and they opened the room, and there was the mother with a girl, and the girl spoke English.
Okay.
And then she started phoning around, and then she finally got the address of where Nannagaru was staying in Bhimavaram.
Staying in Bhimavaram. Okay.
With his daughter, actually.
Yes. Surya.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, I went back to the hotel. By then it was almost 5 o'clock already. I was very nervous, I wouldn't meet. Yeah. Then I asked for a taxi, and they called somebody, a car with a chauffeur, not a regular taxi. And so I went into the car, and I showed him the address. And he said to me, what is this? Where are you going? What is this? Why are you going there? I said, I'm a Nannagaru who is staying there. And he said, oh, I was a chauffeur. I have driven Nannagaru many times. I know the address.
So he had some relief.
Some relief. So he brought me there, and then I came there with the driver, and Nannagaru he was so happy to see me, and I was so happy to see him. And he knew the driver, and he said to the driver, you are looking now for a hotel for her? And he said,
in
Bhimavaram, and you come,
nice.
You come next morning, 6 o'clock, you come here. So then we arranged everything. I went back to Palakol, take my luggage, going to the hotel at the train station and all this. And then next day, Buji came up to me and he said, you can stay only 3 days. And that's when I realized that I totally had forgotten to book a ticket back. And I thought,
oh my God.
3 days. That means that I have probably 2 days to spend time in the train station to get a new ticket, and then my time is up and I haven't seen anything.
Sad.
I was so sad,
Actually, Radha, it's because Jinnur is a very small town, no? It's small. It's a village, actually.
Yeah.
It's a very small village. And then generally foreigners, when they come, they don't go back for months together because they will not want to leave Nana at all. So Nana generally did not entertain foreigners to come to Jinnur. Because earlier, for many years, people came and they would stay back for months together, and it would become difficult for him.
They
wouldn't obey. Even if he said, you have to go back, they wouldn't obey. So then he slowly told me, Usha, please don't entertain foreigners because let them come to Tiruvannamalai, not to Jinnur.
Yeah, I understand.
So, so too long a stay would become again difficult. So Buji was always he had almost a stick in hand. Don't entertain, don't entertain.
So I was, actually it was such a blessing that all this happened because he was staying in Bhimavaram because his wife had the eye operation in Hyderabad.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
And we could stay with him. He was all the time available.
Yes.
And we could stay the whole day in the house.
Yeah.
From 6 o'clock in the morning. And
to
he
evening.
was always around,
Yeah.
I remember that the most wonderful time. Then I asked one of the women if she could ask Nannagaru about my stay, how long I
Can stay. Yeah, yeah.
can stay. So she came back and he said, you can stay as long as you want.
You want. That's wonderful, Radha. That's really wonderful.
And then I was completely relaxed, of course. And then there was this beautiful man, the teacher Srinivasa, and
he's a very sweet boy.
Yeah, and he offered me to come on his bike, and every morning at 5:30 he came to the hotel, pick me up,
take you to Nannagaru.
Take me to Nannagaru, and he would fix by email my train ticket back and all this.
Yes, he's very sweet. He would help all the devotees.
Yes.
Especially those who came to Bhimavaram, he would take the responsibility of, taking them, bringing them back. Very sweet boy, yeah.
Yeah, very, very. I'm really very grateful for his help.
Yes, yes.
Every time when I came, he would be there to
take you,
book
drop
my
you,
ticket,
bring you,
or this or that. I mean.
Nice. Very sweet.
Yeah. So I stayed for 10 days, I think, or even longer. We went and back to Jinoro and, and all this. And
very nice. So you had a longest trip.
And I met you in Bhimavaram, and I told you, about the phone.
Yeah.
I couldn't reach you anymore, and then you said if I would have asked Nannagaru, then I knew that he would have said no, and that's why I didn't.
I didn't respond.
So you left it actually into the hands of the divine. Yeah.
Because I was told many times not to entertain foreigners, and also maybe because, as you said, his wife, if she was having an eye operation in Hyderabad, now it makes sense to me, because when she's going for eye operation, when he's going to Bhimavaram, when he's staying at his daughter's place, it's not fair to entertain devotees to Nana's place, because he would not be at home in Jinnor. Yeah.
I don't know about it.
Yeah,
anyway, it worked out that way.
Yes.
Because normally I should have been there already the 6th, and then.
Yes, he has very strange ways of doing things.
Yes.
He has a very strange way of doing things many times. It happened with Louis also, because he wanted to come to Vizag, and Vizag Nannagaru was actually restricting himself to all the devotees because he had to rest in doctor's house.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, even the people in Vizag were not allowed to go to him. So there was absolute full restriction that nobody visits him because he was not well. But yes, then we had to allow Louis to come. No, but not through me. Not through me, but through Madhavi, the one who's conducting Satsang, one of the. So she had arranged somebody in there, and then he had to come, and then Nana was quite, of course Nana is always compassionate. So I was like, he says something to us and something else happens.
Yeah. But then, I went back, all the time I went back to Jinoro.
Yeah. You went back with Nannagaru?
Yes. I went back to see him, often.
Yeah.
And at one point I was also thinking about staying there, just staying there. But then in the morning, I never had asked anything of it. But the doctor just out of the blue said to me, you better stay in Tiruvannamalai. It's a much better place for you to stay. But you can come whenever you want and as long as you want.
Okay.
Yes. And I knew that this was, of course, Nannagaru's voice. So
yes.
Saying,
so you came more often to Jinnor?
Yeah.
From 2015?
Yeah. Nice. I came always when I came was when I arrived from Belgium. I went. And then before I would go to Belgium, I went. So twice
So you would
twice
come to
every 6 months. Huh?
Yeah, you would come to Tiruvannamalai. From there, you would go to Jinnur and come back to Tiruvannamalai. And
Yeah,
before you left Tiruvannamalai, again to
yeah,
Jinnur.
yeah. I would go
Nice.
to see him
So
again.
every India visit, 2 trips to Jinnur.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice. So you had the longest span of time with him.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it's a rare opportunity, Radha. Not everybody gets that, especially not foreigners. Yeah. It's not because it's foreigners. It's like, it's a very conservative place where, the facilities are less and, the language is difficult. And I don't know, for some reason, he'd never traveled abroad also much. Like many foreigners invited him always to the US and, like other countries. But he chose to remain there. Yeah, that is a little mysterious, but yeah. But you had a wonderful time, and being called Granny helped a lot.
It was a very special time always, because in Palakol I was the only foreigner and single woman, white woman. Yeah. Of course, the whole of Palakol knew me,
Yes.
And you know how it goes, and nobody spoke English or very little English. In the Sangha, same.
Yes.
But somehow, I mean, I went every day and from early morning till 10 o'clock, and then coming back for
in the evening.
In the evening, and I was never informed about things.
Where he was going,
I didn't know what was going on and all this, but I never missed out also.
Yeah.
So it was very strange.
He takes care, Radha. I mean, it's very, I don't know how to put this. Nana says something, but it works for everyone. Somehow he fills everyone's
also
heart.
in a strange language.
Yes. It's paradoxical at times, but it's very beautiful in the end.
Yeah.
But you were very fortunate, Radha, because I don't know, whatever he meant when he meant Granny, which it helped a huge extent to you being beside him, people giving you way, and you had this rare opportunity till the end. I remember you have been there even in his last days.
Yeah, I was there when he left the body.
Yes, the Mahasamadhi also you were there, and that was, I mean, like he brought you close in very mysterious way, in a very mysterious way. Yeah,
it was very...
So what did you feel in his presence, because he would hardly address in English?
No. I was too shy also to take the word or to ask him for things, or and I would only speak with him when he would address me, when he would ask me a question, what sometimes happened, but not too much.
Yeah.
And we had a very connection on a very, very intimate level, I think. I would come always, I would not let know when I came, but I would come. Then I would arrive at his house. At the same time, he would arrive by car, coming from somewhere. He would step out of the car. I would stand there. We would go together in his room, I would go down, and it was like a blanket of intimacy that was thrown over us, I mean, it was
beautiful.
And then he always said that he was happy that I had come.
Yeah. So the divine timing.
Yes.
Because you never missed him after that.
No.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yes.
Beautiful. With this whole Bhimavaram thing and all this.
Till Bhimavaram was your difficulty. From there it was all a red carpet flying.
Red carpet flying. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was how it went.
So you came frequently. Every 6 months you came twice to Jinnur, and maybe I think you were there when he came to Tiruvannamalai from then on, every trip?
From then onwards, I was not one time, not because actually he would come for Christmas time at Tiruvannamalai, I remember, but that was the time that I had to go to Singapore.
Okay.
To meet the family there.
Okay.
Because and I was. So I thought I'm going to miss him in Tiruvannamalai. So I will go before to Gino. So then he asked me to come to see him at 6:30 or 5:30. I was there with him alone, and he said, "Why? I'm very happy you're here, but why are you coming? Because I'm coming to Tiruvannamalai." So I said, I have to go to Singapore then. What? Singapore? What are you doing in Singapore?
So he had a long conversation with you.
Yes. Yeah, every word proved to be so important.
Yeah.
Not only word, every gesture. Yes. Afterwards.
Yeah. And was there any particular spiritual instruction he gave you in a subtle way or verbally, or answered a question from you?
What happened actually is that from the moment that I met Nannagaru in this way, like we really, I found myself thrown always into situations where people would ask my help. So actually, that was a very, very strange thing that happened. And so actually, it was not anymore the usual sadhana,
Okay.
Of going around the mountain or sitting down in the meditation hall and all this, singing bhajans, doing all these things. No, it was by acting.
Okay.
And then realizing that there was no one acting.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yours was almost from within. It's a direct...
I became an instrument. And very instrumental kind of thing.
Yeah. It opened up from within.
And I discovered this acting from the source kind of thing,
Wow. So you were taken from there rather than... It's not like going from external to internal. The internal thing took you... The internal
he put me actually into the world.
Yeah. So the process took place from within.
Yeah.
And that's why I think your whole life was also similar, Radha? Like you just went with life and it just unfolded things for you.
Yes.
And so similarly, your inner life also blossomed from within, that you did not have to do anything, struggle, effort from outside, because the struggles also had come.
Yeah, the struggles had also come. Yeah.
But yours was more of a surrendered path. I mean, you had surrendered yourself to the higher power, and you let it take care of itself.
Yeah, not aware, not really with awareness. Of course, you don't do that with awareness.
Of course.
Surrender just happens.
Happened,
Yeah.
I mean, your system was made that way, where you accepted what came.
Yeah.
Even if it was difficult, you accepted what came.
Yeah. And you do your duty. Yeah, you have to do your duty.
Duty. Yeah.
But
it was beautiful the way it unfolded for you and the way Nana took you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was,
He,
I mean, you never needed a particular verbal guidance to tell you what, and I mean, the
no,
subject.
he would sometimes he would put messages into my. He would speak through my head, kind
Yes,
of that I would hear his voice loud and clear in perfect English. He would say something
Wow.
like,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay.
So also like you know, when he was so ill and would leave the body, you know, we were not allowed to come. It was said we couldn't come, you know.
Yeah.
And then, but I had asked Srinivasa to tell me when it would become serious.
Yes.
And at one time he called me and he said, it's not going to get better, it's really serious. But he didn't say that I should come, because of course he couldn't.
Yes,
but then,
nobody, we were helpless, yeah.
I could really sense that, you know.
Yeah.
And but of course I didn't want to miss out also. So,
correct. Yeah. So you happened to come, yeah. I mean, this is what is so beautiful, Radha, because see, externally so many things keep happening. We are obliged with so many things. I mean, it's not easy to be in the presence of a master because there are thousands of devotees always.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of them. And his body is one that addresses all.
Of course.
And he loves all immensely.
Immensely, I could see that.
he never says a no to anybody, and it becomes responsibility of those who are, you know, beside him to take care of his body.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it might appear harsh. I mean, many devotees felt it was harsh many times. They felt bitter also. But being beside had a huge responsibility because, see, he takes care of all the thousands of devotees, but who takes care of his body? Because it's always giving. Everything is giving. And there was a stage where he couldn't rest at all. He wouldn't be eating properly, and then the doctors would advise a lot of rest. Yeah. And the body had to be protected. Yeah, so it's a huge thing. I mean, like each one's role is different. I was feeling a little bad when I said, oh man, I was not available for Radha. So, but it was like this for many, Radha. No, not you. I mean, I think there were many instances where we had probably to be harsh. Even Bujji was beside Nana full time.
Yeah.
And he had to become villain to many people. Because he's full time with Nana and he had to put a barrier to people, or else full time 24/7 people would be on Nana. Because Nana would not restrict anyone. Yeah. And he's a family man. There was his wife, and then she eats only after he eats. She never eats before Nana eats. So whatever time Nana has for his food, after serving him, only she serves herself. So there are so many intrinsic factors which we cannot actually express to everybody. And if a time is given, at that particular time, if you're not there also, again, it becomes difficult because you never know where Nana goes. His plan is, except for the public pravachans, you know, like where he goes to address the public, it is already given in the timetable. Otherwise, he visits many devotees occasionally.
Yeah.
Where he would go by himself.
Yeah.
He wouldn't inform anybody about it. So his schedule is very difficult to monitor. Even in the end, Radha, like after his Mahasamadhi, many devotees felt bitter because Nana's body was not restored. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know about his...
Yeah. So, I mean, there are so many factors, but yes, as you said, in a very beautiful way, he unfolds things for everybody, whatever the restrictions around him. He gave way to people in his own gracious way and filled everyone's heart irrespectively.
Absolutely.
I mean, that can happen only through divinity.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because he filled everyone's heart to the complete with no complaint at all. And that cannot be done except for divinity.
Yeah, I actually, I mean, I was all this time that I was sitting with him, not understanding what he was saying, but observing, and being there. I was so fascinated by his attitude and his behavior. At one point, you had this very childlike, innocent, undisturbed, unbroken, undisturbed, always present for everyone.
Everyone.
And then, at the other hand, you had this sudden and powerful and focused transmission that he could give. And I was fascinated by this. I could not bring it together, I could not. I was thinking, how can someone being in this unbroken natural state, know oneself when there is nobody left there? That was a question a burning question that I had all the time when I was observing this. And while observing this, I forgot completely about myself. I was but it came always and always and then always, and I just couldn't comprehend,
that state.
Such a simplicity.
So true. Yeah.
But how is it possible? Can you tell me how this is?
Radha,
that's the mystery, probably.
Yes, it's amazing. That's what I'm telling you. In spite of all the chaos around him, in spite of him being a family man with lots of devotees, a conservative setup, a small village, and people came with lot of problems. Not everybody comes for truth, Radha. Many come with suffering. Come with suffering. I mean, intense suffering, actually. And also like Western people, the conservative setup, the women do not have the freedom of expression or freedom to do what they want. It's almost like like you're bound. So he chose to bring freedom to all, especially women, especially in that conservative place. And because they couldn't express much anywhere, Nana was the prime source where they could pour out all their problems to. And he would sit for hours together with each person, listening to all their woes. See, in your case, you never expressed anything to him. It unfolded for you because you were ripe enough, you mature enough. And you knew the solution was coming even without, you addressing it to him. But because it was the native language, he was like more of like a father figure to everybody. So people came and poured out whatever they had, and he would address them, like repeatedly trying to solve their problem for them. And he would send his grace, because see, unless you're mature, you can't receive the grace well. So he would bring it to a point where he went into you. He carried your problem. He sent grace and cleared it for each one of us. I mean, each one of us.
He did it for me also,
For everybody, Radha. And how he did it is a mystery, because he is all-pervasive, one, limited to a body, so body had its restrictions. He was the universal truth that was radiating all through.
Yes.
And it is the self. He is the self in all of us, right? He is the true self in all of us. He is the one that resides in our heart. Yes. So he was that. So he knew you even before you knew yourself. He knew the thought before it arose.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was the source.
Yeah.
He was the source that was looking at you all through.
Yeah.
And no matter, I mean, it's two different contrast worlds, Radha, actually. The inner life is different, the external life is different. So he was, that's why, I mean, he expressed himself internally to most foreigners in a very subtle way because you could receive his silence.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't need much words. See, there is an example of where one devotee goes to Bhagwan and he asks Bhagwan, why are you sitting like this after attaining the pinnacle of truth? Why don't you preach to the world the truth that you have experienced? Because almost most of the population is lost in ignorance. So whatever you have experienced, if you can express it to people, you can guide people, it would be a great thing to do. Then Bhagwan asks him, so you think I'm not guiding you now? So only if I speak, is it that I am imparting the knowledge to you? Don't you know that silence teaches? And silence is the loudest teacher.
Yeah.
It's not just a teacher, it's a loudest teacher for people who can receive the silence. And also, like Nana, regarding this topic between Bhagwan and the disciple, he spoke for 1.5 hours to 2 hours, Radha, saying, does not the silence speak? It's, he said, like, see, verbally I speak for 3 hours or 4 hours in a meeting. Suppose all of you are sitting here, it makes you feel good about it, but it is not bringing any change or transformation in you. Then what is the use of verbal conversation if 10 minutes of my silence could do that to you, a transformation which you cannot see with your eyes? So he said silence is golden and speech is silver.
Yeah, it was fascinating also to see how he could talk without end. But
Yes.
I heard the talking, but then it was underneath, there was such a profound silence.
Yes, yes.
It was,
Yes.
yeah,
Actually,
supported by the silence.
Yeah, his speech came from silence, Radha.
Yes, his speech came from silence.
Speech came from silence. I mean, whatever silver he said originated from the gold within.
Yeah.
And you bunch of people were fortunate to directly take the gold from him. No matter what was happening around.
But also always when I returned to Tiruvannamalai from Jinuru, or when he would leave Tiruvannamalai for Jinuru, I found myself, my body, every act, every whatever was said, and I happened within his presence. It was his presence, and
that your body was just enacting.
Yeah, and the body was just it was pure bliss actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's still, he still is, his phrase is still
Of course,
there.
Of course, Radha. Maybe because you had the spiritual fire lit within you at a very young age already.
Maybe,
it was, and it was a slow unfolding process where it was increasing in its magnitude.
Yeah.
So the more and more you have these experiences of truth, the more and more you disconnect from the external world.
Yeah.
It's like this, like when you start from Tiruvannamalai to Jinnur, you were distancing from Tiruvannamalai and getting closer to Jinnur. So similarly, when you distance yourself when you're getting closer, you spontaneously distance yourself from the other place. So from the place of the world to place of divinity, the more you are moving towards divinity, the world disappears by itself. So you lose yourself slowly and the divinity starts working more and you are slowly lost to divinity.
Yes.
Yeah. And once you lose yourself to divinity, your body functions through the source rather than the ego. Yeah, I don't say that ego is totally lost, but yeah, the process of losing ego, which happens very naturally for those who surrender. Because surrender itself is a huge effort. I mean, surrender is not something as easy as we speak. Nana always said,
I mean, it cannot be done. Huh? Surrender.
It can't be done. Yes, it can't be done. It's made by the divine. That's why it's difficult. It's difficult to express the path of surrender, because rather there's nothing to attribute to ourselves, because it was a happening from the divine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why he says, if you believe, if you have your 100% faith, there's no sadhana. For those who have a complete faith that it is taken care of, everything is taken care of by the divine, you don't have anything to do. But for the intellectual people, it's like you have to do something to get there. So for them, it's inquiry. That's what Nana always said, Radha. For those who could surrender to the will of God, you don't require to do anything. It's like, he gives the example of cat and monkey. A cat holds its kids, the kittens, with the neck and takes it everywhere. In the case of a monkey, the child holds the mother. So he says, surrender is the path of the cat and inquiry is the path of monkey. Where the kid holds to the mother and it could accidentally slip sometime, but a cat will never leave its kid. It holds it by the neck and takes it wherever it goes.
Yeah.
So that's why he said it's the safest way to go, safest way of sadhana.
Yeah.
And also as you said, the more and more the divinity takes control from within, like it happened in your case, we are choiceless, right?
Yes, I mean, anyway, I mean, he is organizing everything somehow. I still have this in my life, so he's really organizing things,
I know. So I mean, like slowly, it's like you lose everything called mine, and slowly you lose you. Me and mine.
He still is. I mean, not the embodiment, but when he was alive in the body, for me he was the embodiment of grace.
Yes, yes.
And now the body is not there anymore, but grace is still there. I mean, the grace
is always there.
So it's always there. It's unbelievable.
Yes. Because he was never the body, Radha. I mean,
no,
that's what he said always.
Just embodied.
Embodied. And that's why he would also say it's beautiful, it's more profound when there is no body, because there's no more restriction.
Yeah.
So to go to his body, there are a lot of restrictions, or there are timings. He would always say this body is an obstacle for a realized soul, because it's a burden.
Yeah.
Because he's everywhere, but he's confined to the body for us.
Of course. I mean, that's suffering, that's a kind of suffering to be in
the body, then
enclosed, being by this, restricted by this body.
Yeah. Like he would address, like Bhagavan would say, Bhagavan's body would shiver a lot. So when people used to ask, why do you shake so much? Why does your body shiver so much? It's like,
because it's too small for the
So he would say it's like trying to put a huge elephant in a small hut.
Yeah.
So it's such a beautiful thing.
I could also see in the last year that his body had become a burden, not to him.
Yeah.
The body had really become a burden.
Yes, Radha, yes.
Yeah.
So your last trip, how did you feel when you met Nana the last time?
The last time, I mean, the time that was the time that when he left the body.
Yes, and also before, because the last time he addressed you.
The last time he addressed me, there has been, you know, this blessing, you know, that he always would bless, that people would come to bless, ask for his blessings all the time. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a very strange concept for me as a Westerner. I think this is also a very Indian way to do. Students would come with their pencils and bless them. You would bless them. People would come with their diplomas, with their papers, with this, with that. I have seen so many things, you know, and I said, I'm never going to ask him to bless something, yeah, because I mean the whole blessing is here. I mean, if you're blessed, but anyway. So at one point at one point I was staying in Palakol, and there was a couple from Hyderabad with their son, and they had rented a rickshaw, and I could always come with them, join them to Nannagaru and forth and back, and we would go for chai, and they showed me finally a restaurant where I could find food in Palakol. And all is very, very nice. And they came because the son was going to marry, and they would ask for the blessings. That's why they came just for the weekend, you know, to see Nannagaru. And I said, oh, my son, he is also going to marry, yeah. Oh, you should ask him
for blessings.
Blessings. And I said, oh, you know. But then I thought it was so important that I should ask them, because it's an important thing. I said, okay, I'm going to ask him for the blessings. I was very nervous, and I would ask. I had figured it out. I would ask in the morning. Not a lot of people were around, and you know, I would be. So I decided to ask him for the blessings of the marriage of my son and his future wife. And he played as if he didn't understand me. I got nervous and more nervous, you know. So the doctor who was sitting there, he repeated what I was saying. And still he wouldn't, you know. And then the doctor again repeated, you know. She's asking your blessing
for her son's wedding,
for the couple, you know, for her son and his girlfriend. They were already for 9 years together at that time, and they are going to marry at that date and all this in Brussels. So I gave him my phone
and showed the photo
with a photo of the two of them, and he looked really quite a long time at the photograph. I thought, oh, this is serious business, yes. And when I left Nannagaru for Palakol, I felt so light and so happy, and as if a burden was taken from my shoulders, and if I was declared free, actually, this kind of feeling, yeah. But then, when I came to Belgium, and then the marriage had to unfold, and the whole preparations, and people had to come from all corners of the world. His father from Singapore with his wife, and Spanish people from Victoria.
From her side.
Yeah, from her side, and I mean, all this. And then, all of a sudden, very, very hidden and deep, buried stuff came up. with all of us, you know.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
went
it does.
around,
It does. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
loyalty and I mean, I think when I look back, very heavy karmic stuff came up,
Ah,
and
okay.
it was a
During
very,
this
very
during this wedding time.
yes, during this wedding time, it was a very, very difficult time for me. I felt totally alienated. I didn't recognize my son anymore. I mean, we were so thick always. I mean, but yeah, and all this. And I read also a letter then to Nannagaru for his birthday, and I said, you know, I mean, having had your blessings, I now understand, you know, because it's like it feels like an operation, and you are holding the knife of a surgeon, and you are just cutting very, very deep, and all this.
Deep.
Okay,
Yeah.
I could see that. It was very strange what happened. Then the marriage day was there, and the marriage day was not a red carpet but a diamond carpet. I mean, it was magic, fantastic. Okay, after the marriage, everyone went their way and life went back to normal, and I went to Tiruvannamalai. From Tiruvannamalai, I went to Jinuru. I came there first day. I sat at his feet, just in front of him, really. And I was sitting like this, and he was with a lot of people were there during satsang. And all of a sudden, tears came out of my eyes. I didn't know where they came from. Because I didn't have a thought of anything, you know, just streaming down the face. And all of a sudden, I had completely forgotten about the whole marriage thing, everything, and all the difficulties and everything. And then his voice in my head, clear and loud in perfect English. And he said, your son had to behave the way he did, because if not, he would never have been able to marry his wife.
Wow.
And then I understood everything. And that's where I learned about blessing.
This is a crazy story, Radha.
Yeah. And you know, about 2 months later, the couple, my son and his wife, they were sent to Visar. What is this place in Andhra Pradesh?
Visakhapatnam, Vizag. No.
Where they are building this new city. There is
Vijayawada?
Yeah.
Vijayawada. Yeah.
They had to go there on assignment because my son is a photographer, and the New Yorker had asked him to go there. So I said, you pass by Jinuru and go and pay your respect to Nannagaru.
Nice. So did it?
But, no, because I didn't have time. But I told Nannagaru mentally that they were there in the vicinity.
Close to you, 2 hours close to you.
Strange, huh?
So just bless them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Same
thing when the baby came, you know, also. Yeah. The way they got into Tiru in December 25th of 2019, just before the whole Corona thing happened. They came there because my son had met, because of his job, an Indian American. And he was very impressed with this work, and he said, I'm going to organize workshops for you and lectures in India.
Okay.
And he invited them over. The baby was 7 months old, and they came to Tiruvannamalai 1 week. Then we went to Bangalore, Delhi. We were invited. It's fantastic.
So he was taken to Tiruvannamalai?
Yes.
And the baby was blessed there?
Yes. Yes,
so
at Nannagaru's, in Nannagaru Ashram by
you sent me the pictures.
Video, yeah.
Sridhar Garu, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put him near Nana,
Yeah,
the statue there, and then you took him to the room, and
yeah. It was on his
yeah.
Mahasamadhi day, yeah?
Yeah.
29th
So,
of December. And
29th December, that was in 2000. No,
19.
2000. Yes, 19.
Yeah,
You
2
went.
years. Yeah.
So you went with your son on this India trip.
Yeah, yeah.
You took your grandson, you got him blessed.
That's just to tell you that the grace is still always keeps on working. No?
Yes,
It's His grace. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, very beautiful. See, everything is taken care of, you know, like he doesn't leave. He doesn't leave even your external life, rather. The beauty of Nana is, I mean, see, like, true truth, everything else is an illusion. But when we are in family, we have responsibilities, then you're working, you have your colleagues, you have your office. So like a lot of things, like in this world, we live with a lot of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is blessed. I mean, He blesses everyone. He makes things easy for everybody. And He opens the path in such a way that every one of us can pursue it. I mean, He doesn't leave it with us because He blesses your work, He blesses the people around you, He blesses the family. Or else it's not easy, Radha. I mean, unless, you know, like if your situations around you are overwhelming, the path becomes a little difficult to pursue.
Yeah.
So He makes things easy around us and then makes a way for us to, you know, really settle there. It's a very, very beautiful unfolding.
Yes.
Yeah,
but not always painless, you know.
Yeah, it's not. It can't be painless because how will ego go away without any pain? How will we get rid of our attachments without any pain?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're attached to so many things, knowingly and unknowingly. And also, like rather, like though the Western, it's very difficult for Western mind to understand. It's not of the vasanas are not of one lifetime.
Yeah.
It's of many lifetimes. So you come with a lot of baggage. And from the baggage, all the trash has to be removed. It can be removed without we being aware of it. So it is done in awareness. It is shown to you. The pain is known and you get rid of it. So that is the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no gain without pain. So I think we learn to embrace pain also.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
we have the pain without really feeling the pain, or feeling the pain without. I mean, when I was so suffering, I knew that I had actually I discovered the depth of my feelings and my emotions. You know, that it's also a lesson. Yeah, that's so beautiful to see.
Yes.
Of course, only when you look back you can appreciate. But when you're
inside, it's a grief.
But then also, it's like being sick. When you are sick, you go through it. You know, I mean.
Yes, you go through it. Yes.
Yeah. And from the moment you are healthy, you forget completely.
You forget that you are sick.
Yeah.
That's why Nana says once you establish yourself in the heart completely, you look back and you're like, was this really required? Was that really a suffering at all? Was that really needed? Why did I have to do
it? Yes, it's needed. Yeah, I think it's needed.
It is needed. Yes.
I mean, it's not needed when you self-inflict but when it overcomes you, there must be a reason. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the elimination process, because what is accumulated had to be eliminated.
Yeah.
And there's no other way of doing it. Yeah. And it becomes easier the more we travel, Radha, because the more you're out of whatever is stored inside, you become more and more free.
Yeah.
The lesser the baggage, the easier the travel.
Like when I was suffering so much, actually, I started to write, yeah, and I started because it was the only way to somehow to get rid a little bit of my suffering and all this, and poems. And now people ask me often, you know, I mean, are you still writing? Are you still do? I said, no, I'm not. How come? How come? And then I say, I'm not suffering anymore. I don't have any inspiration. All the inspiration is gone. The suffering is gone. There's not one word I can put on paper, you know.
To inspire people.
It's really like that. It feels like that, you know.
Yeah. Maybe you can share your poems with me on WhatsApp. You would like to share it in our website.
Share them with Nannagaru.
Oh, you please share it with us. Do you have one of them here with you now?
It will be for another time. When on the 25th of December, just before he left the body, I had my ticket. I had booked my ticket to go to Jinro, beginning of December, and that was. I had a ticket, first ticket, and the only one I could get, and it was in first class. For the first time that I went in first class was the 27th of December.
Really?
And
you started on 27th, Radha, for the last visit to Nana?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
And then, because we were not allowed to come and all this, and it was also again December month, and there were no places available in the train. But I had already, for 3 weeks, I had this ticket, you know. And and then the 25th, and night from 25th to 26th, all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, I was sleeping, I woke up clear, and I was completely clear, and Nannagaru, his voice said to me, "You must come now."
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This was on 26th.
That was on 25th, or from 24 to 25th, or from 25th to 26th. I don't remember. But
where were you then?
Around midnight. Huh?
Where were you then?
In Tiruvannamalai. Yeah.
Ah. So you came much early to Tiruvannamalai and you stayed there and you were waiting for an opportunity to come to Jinnor.
But I came always 6 months. I would come in September, October, and stay till March.
So it was your regular visit.
Yeah. Every year. Yeah. From the moment I left, I quit my work. I had decided to quit the work. You know, in the beginning I could only, you remember, I could only come 3 weeks. But then I quit, and from that time I stayed every year. Now I should be there, you know. I should have been there already from September last year.
So you're staying there for a month or two? 6 months?
6 months.
In
Tiruvannamalai. Yeah, every year.
Nice. Very nice.
This is the first year that ever since I came to Tiruvannamalai that
you did not move because of Corona situation.
Yes.
So this trip, you were already in Tiruvannamalai and you just waited for the opportunity to be there. Yes. And on the 25th, you had this dream that you have to be there now.
It was not a dream. I was clear awake, and he told me, "You must come now."
Okay. So you started.
So then I was a little bit in agony because I thought my ticket is going 27th, yes? 27th means 28 in the morning I will be there. Maybe this may be too late, but then I said, no, I'm going by the ticket. And I was praying that I would be in time. Yeah, to see him. I came to but actually what I wanted to say, because of the poems and all this, you know, I was... all of a sudden there was, you know, I knew then at that moment he would go, yeah. I mean, that was sure. When he said that, you must come, I knew that he would go, yeah. So then, of course, his attachment, yeah. And one thing was, and for whom and to whom will I write now? also.
Ah,
This came.
yeah.
But then I said, hey, ho. But you see?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I ran from the
Beautiful.
train. I stepped down from the train. I took a taxi, and the taxi right away to his house. I arrived there at 5:30 something. They let me in. You had gone to sleep. I came inside the
Yeah.
room. I stayed with Nana. There was a
Yes.
young man there. I asked
Yes.
him if he was a doctor. No, he was a grandson.
Yes. Varma.
Varma.
Yeah.
And I could
Yeah.
stay there
Yes.
until
Nice.
Nana's wife came in. And then I would
Yeah.
stay there. I was there until he left the body.
Yes, you were there. You were around in the
Yeah,
house.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. That was a rare privilege many devotees lacked, Radha. I mean, it was his will that few people had to be around him, and you were one of them, and it was such a
Yeah.
privilege. Yeah. We do not know that intrinsic, I mean, that divine connection, how, from where, and how we are connected to him, but in your case, I mean, it's absolutely beautiful to have your session today because you were one of those rare people who had this opportunity to be in his presence in his last days,
Yeah.
which many very close, intimate devotees who had taken care of him for many years, putting them in his house for 13 years, 15 years, 20 years, who served him, who fed him, and I mean, it was a situation where not everybody could get into the house, right? See, thousands of devotees can't be in the house when the master is, like the body is bad condition and a lot of medical treatment going on and the family around. And so there are a lot of things. I mean, again, it's the divine way of doing things.
Yes, it was
The body
very,
has,
very, very, very special.
yeah. You were so blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people could just see him from the, like have a glance of him from the window and leave because there was huge queue, going out of the bridge, out of the
Yeah, they had to go by
yes. And calling you his granny, he kept you beside him so beautifully well. I mean, like he has a way of keeping people beside him if he wanted to. And you were so blessed, Radha. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, it's not just after you met him in body. He has been with you all through.
Yes.
So if you could see
from
him
before already.
Yes. Because it's the universal energy, right? He's just
yes
personification of it. So you were guided very beautifully from inside. From the heart center, actually.
Yeah.
And the rare privilege to be in his presence physically also.
From time to time, he would say to me when we were alone, I know you. But I never dare to ask anything about it.
How?
I just accepted. And I thought, yes, of course. I mean,
of course.
What we are is he, so and he knows himself.
Absolutely.
So
yes, both ways, because yes, we've been in his fold, like not like each. He says, for some, one guru. Suppose the guru we are the guru that chooses us. We go through that gateway. So for each one it could be different, but we belong to him.
Yeah.
We definitely belong to him. So only those who belong will be with him. It's like your son will be with you. He can't be with somebody else.
Yeah. Probably that's what he did, with the blessing, asking the blessing.
So it's really beautiful, Radha.
Yeah.
You have any message that you want to tell our devotees or in general?
In generally, I would really want everybody to meet a being, Sadguru, divinity like Nannagaruji. I mean, it's everyone's birthright.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And everyone, I mean, when I saw Nannagaru and I turned my back, how stupid I was at that time. That I had to fall in such suffering to, to come to him finally,
And fall flat.
and fall flat.
There's no escape.
No. And just accept,
Yeah.
I think acceptance and surrender is the only sadhana there is, actually.
Yes.
Have faith, yeah. And what I find also with Nannagaru, the simplicity. There were no rituals.
Yes.
There was no nothing whatever. It was because he was everything. So or nothing.
Yes.
Or
nothing externally.
So of course, yes, there was no external kind
nothing
of
required.
Nothing required. No dons, no do's, no nothing.
Yes.
Nothing. Everything was permitted. Of course, everything is. I mean, that's that's the higher teaching.
The presence.
Yeah,
the very presence was everything. Yes. Absolutely beautiful, Radha. This was, this statement was absolutely beautiful because it's the truth.
Yeah. The truth that encompasses all. So why not? Why doing more? Kind of thing.
So the name Radha was so apt for you. So Papaji sensed it.
I didn't know at that time anything about Krishna and Radha and the whole Indian mythology. I only knew somebody had said Krishna had a lot of women. And when Papaji gave me the name Radha, I was really disappointed, And I said, I was in front of him, but he had so many women, I wanted to be the only one, And then he said, yes, but she was his best girlfriend, And still, I was not really satisfied. And then after a while, he said, all were attached to him, to Krishna. But Krishna only was attached
to Radha.
And now you go.
So that was a compliment, huh? You were completely satisfied.
At that time, I didn't realize the depth of it.
But now you do.
Yes, now I do.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Radha.
Thank you so much, Usha, for this opportunity.
And probably, of course, everything is a divine unfolding. But yes, the inconvenience little that was caused, I would like to apologize.
No, it was perfect. Can you imagine that you would have asked and you would have said no?
Then Nana wouldn't have come so profoundly in the dream. Come now.
And anyway, he came to tell me that he was waiting for me. So
yes. Yeah, it was a tiring journey. But it was beautiful in the end.
It is beautiful. It was beauty, sheer beauty from the beginning till the end. There is no end.
There's no end. We merging into it and eternal flow. So beautiful, Radha. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I hope to see you back in India.
Sure, definitely. 6 months you will be in Tiruvannamalai, so we will be meeting sometime.
Yes, yes.
Because you're more of a permanent resident than we are. Yeah. So thank you so much, Radha.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Om Shri Nana Paramatmane Namaha.
Guru Rupamo Giri Rupamo Sri Nana Padame Maku Saran